Good morning. Let me get my thumb out in front of the camera. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Um, I'm just going to give it a couple minutes because this is not going to be a long live video. I'm at work. Of course, I'm at work. I'm always at work, or it feels like I'm always at work. So let's see here. Let me see. Now I have this thing set where it's supposed to come. Never mind. It was a good idea when I first thought of it. Anyway, so I did come into work a little bit early today because I wanted to walk. But what this video is about is, for those of you who have been watching my journey, you know that about 8 weeks ago I started the keto. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hold this heavy iPad. So for those of you who have been following my journey, you know that I started the ketogenic diet almost 8 weeks ago. And I'm going to talk for a minute about the dawn phenomenon. And so here's what's happening. Before I started keto, my fasting blood sugars were really high, higher than normal. A normal fasted blood sugar, this is if you don't have any underlying issues or taking medications or whatever. A normal fasted blood sugar. So if you ate dinner at 7 o'clock at night and you're waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, fasted. That's fasted. No food, everything's digested, you haven't eaten in a while. Your blood sugar should be below 100. Below. My blood sugar before I started keto ranged between 122 and 130, but would go as high as 140. My HbA1c had me at a pre-diabetic, insulin resistant pre-diabetic. So basically type 2 diabetes. When I first started keto, for those of you who don't know a lot about the keto diet is zero sugar, zero. Now there are some foods out there that naturally have occurring sugar, and your body has a process where it can actually break down protein. So I could eat a hamburger patty which has zero sugar in it, and my body has the ability to break down that protein and store it as glucose. So you're never going to totally get away from everything, and every food has a glycemic index. Some of them have zero impact on your blood sugar, but most foods do have some type of glycemic index. So once you are at a stage where you are already insulin resistant, or you are pre-diabetic, your body already has issues processing sugars, processing carbohydrates, right? It's going to turn it all into sugar. And then because you don't have enough insulin to utilize that sugar, it's just going to keep building up in your blood. And then, of course, you have high glucose. The experiment I'm going to be doing is an attempt to bring down, I have what's called the dawn phenomenon, which is actually a very common occurrence in type 2 and type 1 diabetics. So I can eat dinner at 6 p.m. and not eat or drink anything between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. when I go to bed. And I can test my blood sugar before I go to bed, and my blood sugar can range normal between 85 and 95. And this is what's actually happening to me right now. Well, when I wake up in the morning, 6 hours later, 7 hours later, my blood sugar is really, really high. So how is it that I can start out with a normal blood sugar, 85 to 90, not consume any food, not consume any beverages, just go to sleep, and then wake up with such a high fasting blood sugar? Well, at night, there's actually a few reasons why this could be happening. Number one, though, I'm off of medication. I'm off my metformin because my daytime blood glucose, so from the time I get to work till the end of the evening, my blood sugars are normal now. So if I test just before breakfast, which I usually try to put off till about 9 a.m. after I've done my exercise and worked out. So I try to do a fasting walk. Um, so what'll happen is even if I tested my blood sugar when I first rolled out of bed and my blood sugar was 121. I would almost be willing to bet you if I tested it right now, I would be down in the 1.9 to a 1.11. It drops almost immediately within the first couple hours that I'm awake. Of course, I get up, I shower, I'm physically active, so I'm burning that sugar for fuel. Bulletproof coffee does not impact, if I make it with just MCT oil, it doesn't impact my blood sugar. So as much as I love my butter and my coffee, I am sorry to say that the butter does seem to raise my glucose levels. So this experiment, I've got to find a way to counteract this dawn phenomenon. Now, I have found several videos on YouTube. A lot of them, though, their knee-jerk response is medication. Have your doctor adjust your medication. I want to be off medication. That's my goal. Now, I'm not going against doctor's orders. I got off metformin because within 2 weeks of being on keto, I was having reactive hypoglycemia. So what was happening is that because I was restricting sugar, because I was restricting carbs and taking metformin, my blood sugars were dropping too low. Now I'm suffering from hypoglycemia, which can be just as dangerous as high blood sugar. So I first dropped from 1,000 milligrams of metformin to 500 milligrams of metformin one time a day, and then gradually went off that second dose of metformin. What's kind of frustrating and got me a little bit baffled is that the first 2 weeks I was off metformin, so now I'm off all medication, my blood sugars were beautiful. I've never seen numbers like that. I had fasting blood sugars between 80 and 90. I had post-meal, that's an hour after a meal, I had post-meal blood sugars of 110, 115, and I had post-meal fasted, that's 2 to 3 hours after a meal. I had blood sugars back into normal. And if they were in the hundreds, they were below 110. So I was so excited thinking, okay, but now my sugars are starting to creep back up, but only in the morning. That's it, only in the morning. So, with that being said, your body is going to produce its own glucose. The liver has the liver and other organs in your body have the capability of producing glucose. So you have to be careful, because if you drop your blood sugar too low before you go to bed, you can actually cause hypoglycemia, and your body will react and say, oh no, her blood sugar's too low, and it'll spike that glucose. For someone who is insulin resistant, normally your body will produce a small dose of insulin to take care of that small dose of glucose. Well, my body doesn't produce that, or the glucose, my blood cells cannot accept the insulin. So now I've got all this insulin floating around in my body. I've got all this sugar floating around in my body. Because of the amount of stress, there's some things in my life that have caused some emotional stress lately. I believe that my cortisol levels are up. Um, Cortisol will definitely impact your weight loss. It'll impact your blood sugar. It'll impact your sleep and just your overall well-being. Too much cortisol, which is the stress hormone, will cause those things. So the good news is that I start my vacation as soon as I get off work today. And I would give you a time, except for I've got a very long day today, and then by the time I do my monthly report and I turn in my weekly itinerary and I clean up my workspace and I do all of that, it's probably going to be well after 4 o'clock. So I'm probably going to work about a 10-hour day today. But anyway, so the dawn phenomenon experiment is I'm going to start documenting. Normally, I only document my morning blood sugars because that's the only time I'm really having a problem. But I'm going to start paying more close attention. Number one, being on vacation, my goal is even if I wake up. Well, good morning, Miss Sharon. How are you today? I plan on it. Even though it's a staycation, normally I'm a workaholic. And when I have a staycation, I normally work myself to death. And then when I go back to work in a week, I don't feel rested because I worked harder at home than I do at work physically. I'm usually that woman that takes on painting a whole entire fence or, scrubbing my driveway or I take on these crazy. And while I am going to be taking on some home projects, organization, I'm slowly starting the process of downsizing. My goal is to retire at 55. And in order to do that, there's a lot of things that have to happen, and that's only 6 years away. And that sounds like a tremendous amount of time, but I'm trying to develop habits now that are going to make it so much easier to transition into downsizing. So I've done baking. I need organization. We all do. I need baking and organization. So same, twinsies, right? But so this blood glucose experiment I'm gonna do over this week is, number one, I'm just gonna see, because normally my wake up time is somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. It just depends on what. Like today I have an early appointment, so I actually have to start work a half hour early. So this morning I was up a lot earlier than I normally am. On my vacation, I have said that even if I'm awake, I'm going to make myself stay in bed till at least 7 a.m. At least 7 a.m. I'm going to make myself, I will turn on the TV, but I'm going to stay in bed and I'm going to relax. I'm not going to pick up the cell phone. I'm not going to pick up my iPad. I am just going to stay in bed and relax. So that is my first goal. But what I want to see, and I'm not going to drink or eat anything, because I want to see if by 7 a.m., if my blood sugars haven't dramatically dropped. I only know what they do during my work week, right? So I'm going to be doing that. Also, I saw a video where they said that if you take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water and 1 ounce of cheese just before you go to bed, you can actually have lower blood sugars in the morning, because your body, your liver, starts producing glucose if your blood sugar while you're sleeping drops too low. And so I gave last night as an example. Last night before I went to bed, it had been 3 hours since I ate or drank anything. My blood glucose was like 85 or 87. And when I woke up this morning, it was 121. I haven't eaten anything, haven't drank. So what could be happening is, because think about this now, I'm on a low carb, actually less than 10 net grams of carbs a day, because of my blood sugar issues. So think about this. If I'm eating my dinner at 6 p.m. and I'm going to bed between 9 and 10, it's already been 4 hours. The average person finishes digesting their food in 6 hours. Okay. So before midnight, I've already digested my food. There's nothing left in my system. So what could be happening is if I'm going to bed with an 85, 95 blood glucose, what could be happening is by midnight, 1 o'clock, my blood sugar could be dropping. I could be becoming hypoglycemic, and my body could be reacting to that because my blood sugar's too low. So I already know what bulletproof coffee impacts my blood sugar, which ones don't impact my blood sugar. So now I'm going to start experimenting with nighttime. And I think that being on vacay is like going to be the perfect time for me to experiment. So from here on out, all of the series that I do on my keto journey, my blood glucose, the dawn phenomenon, I'm going to be documenting what I'm doing and what's happening with my blood results. 10 almonds at night before bed. Dropped your husband's. Oh, wow. Wow. They say 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before you go to bed. They're saying that it will drop your blood sugar, your morning blood sugars, by at least 8 points. Well, that still puts me over 100 for a fasting blood sugar. So I'm not happy with that. But for someone who used to be 130, 140 in the morning fasted, I'll take 120 because it's still less. And my body's still healing. I'm only 8 weeks into this journey. So my body is still healing. And I listened to, wow, I need him to try that because it sugars. Yes, they say eat 1 ounce of cheese and put 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in water. Drink it and eat the one just before you go to sleep. And the combination, because the vinegar has some kind of acid, what it does is it kind of works on the liver so that the liver doesn't, it stops the liver from producing that glucose. But also having something in your body before you go to bed will keep your blood sugars from dropping so low that it creates a hypo situation where your body's reacting to your low glycemic level and it's like spiking your insulin, so, or spiking your glucose. So this experiment's not really going to be that conclusive because think about it, stress and sleep are 2 things that will incredibly impact the amount of cortisol in your system. So day 1 of vacation, day 2 of vacation, by day 3, you know, my cortisol level is going to come down, my stress is going to come down, I'm going to gain extra sleep, my body's going to be better rested, plus I'm going to be doing this experiment, so it's not going to be 100% conclusive. But I wanted to start a series. There's a lot of doctors out there that talk about the dawn phenomenon on YouTube. There's a lot of doctors out there that talk about blood glucose, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance. But I want to talk to people on a person-to-person basis. And even though I can't diagnose you and I can't cure you and I can't tell you what you should take and how much you should take, I can show you what I'm doing and I can bring you the results. And then you can try or not try or talk to your doctor about trying. So that's what I would recommend. But anyway, I want you guys to have an amazing Friday. Thanks once again for helping me hit 500. I'm still trying to come up with a contest and a giveaway. I contacted Amazon because I want my friends over the pond. I have a lot of friends that live overseas and a lot of friends that live in other countries, a lot of support. And I want to find out what the process is. I sent Amazon email and I said, what is the process? Do you guys ship overseas? What is the cost for that? Because I do want to be able to include everybody, but because I'm coming out of my pocket for this, I do also have a budget and a mortgage payment and a light bill. So I just want to do a little fun giveaway to celebrate 500, but I'm trying to find a way that I can include because my last giveaways has just been for people in the United States, but I want to go abroad. I want to go abroad. I want to show love everywhere. Amazon is on Australia. They started in November. Oh, so my Australian friends down under would be able to participate. So I sent them an email, and I'm just hoping that they respond to me soon. because I have an idea of what I want to give away. But, you know, I'm just waiting on them. Just waiting on them. So I hope everybody has an amazing day. Stay tuned. If you're wondering about blood glucose and the ketogenic diet, just follow the series of videos. Um, that is the one thing I'm great about. I don't do a lot of clickbait. Usually if I put a keto recipe, it's a keto recipe. If I put my keto journey, it is my keto journey. I'm either talking about my results or what I'm trying or anything else. Thank you, Sharon, for stopping by. Anybody that comes and watches this later, go check out Sharon's videos, Sharon Hartley, and she posted a video this morning. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that this is where I'm doing. This is the experiment I'm going. And you guys have a great Friday. Can't wait till vacation. I'm like counting down. I'm counting down. I begin the countdown. Have a great day.